Look, the first place to start actually is I had this message from Sam C, who basically said that all this talk of Manchester United being looking at managers, there was an article in the Mirror yesterday saying that Manchester United had a shortlist done with regards to managerial replacements for Amorim. This is what Sam C sent me. My sources remained adamant yesterday evening that United are fully committed to Amorim and there has been no movement whatsoever towards lining up alternatives. Senior source told me the message is clear. The manager's position is not under threat and the focus now is firmly on results on the pitch rather than who might be next in the dugout. And look, I've listened to all sorts of stuff. There was a Talk Sport presenter yesterday trying to tell everybody that he can read people, and Amorim's basically asking for the sack. If I wanted mind readers, I'd go and speak to Mystic Meg, and she's dead. So, I couldn't give a toss about mind readers. I couldn't give a toss about shortlists. The reality is, as of right now, the common sense prevails that, of course, 100% Manchester United are going to be sticking with Ruben Amorim. The question has to be how long that will last for. I think sometimes we're in a rush to, make changes, but ultimately this is a predictive change. It's nothing more than that. There's certainly no prospect of an immediate sacking. I said this on Monday morning, like people who were saying sack him now, get rid of him. Ultimately, they're just clickbaiters. They're just farming for interaction, whether it be a tweet or a news article or whatever. They know as well as I do. They know as well as you do that Ruben Amorim's not going to get sacked at the moment. And it's the world we live in, isn't it? Where, cancel culture, basically, let's do it now. Let's do it near now. There is no patience. Even if you want Amorim to be sacked, surely you have to accept there are certain protocols that need to go through. Now, I saw another article last night about Amorim's got 3 games to save his job. I mean, let him speak, Simon. I mean, come on. Of course he's got 3 games to save his job. Pep Guardiola's got 3 games to save his job. If Pep loses 4-0 in his next 3 games, his job's going to be in jeopardy. I mean, this is top-end Premier League football. If Ruben Amorim loses to Chelsea, Sunderland and Brentford, he's going to lose his job. But nobody has rang up the Daily Mail or the Daily Mirror or the Athletic and said Ruben Amorim's got 3 games to save his job. At the end of the day, he's got 3 games to save his job. Fuck him. We're not at that point with Manchester United, but we are Manchester United. I sit here and say if he loses to Chelsea, Sunderland and Brentford, he's got to go. I was driving back from London last night and I was thinking about it, about midnight, and I was going, ultimately, we finished. I had this moment of realization about halfway up the M1, which is a motorway in the UK. It's the main arterial routes from south to north or north to south. And I just thought we finished 15th and we lost to Spurs because there was a Spurs fan on the radio. And I was like, we lost to Spurs in the Europa League final. This could have been us playing Villarreal. We finished 15th, and we're losing a lot of games. There has to be a point where no matter who you are, you're not safe. And I just, I've always known that, but I think you can't be belligerent to that and you can't be stubborn to that. There has to be a point. And I would say nobody's coming out with a hot sauce. You're not Nando's. No one's coming out with, the best sauce in the world saying he's got 3 games to save his job. I think his job is safe, but if he loses the next 3, he probably has to go because nobody can live with that. But like all this talk of replacement managers and stuff like that, it's fake news at the end of the day. And that's not dismissing the Amorim out movement. That's not dismissing the fact that his job's not in jeopardy, because it is. But where we are right now, and I'm glad about this, I might be the only one in the room who is. There's someone in the corner who's not. Speak up. But no, like I seriously think that like where we are right now today, the right course of action is to back the manager, because if in a year's time we've got Glasner in charge and he loses to Arsenal and Man City in his first 4 games, I wouldn't want them to be talking about sacking him. I wouldn't want them to be thinking about sacking him. But acknowledgement is key that we could be on the pathway to that. I've been saying that since the loss to Manchester City, the relentless obsession with Bruno Fernandes in the midfield.